Hi, my name is Adam Hebrilla, and welcome back to our Flowers What's Next series. We're going to go a little bit off topic this time and create something that people can wear, not just for vases, but something they can wear. So we're going to create this beautiful floral bar where your guests can come in and make gorgeous corsages or any kind of flower that they want to put on themselves, on their jacket, on their purse, anywhere they want, they're going to be able to do it. Like always, I know you're sick of hearing it, but let's take that bouquet apart and separate it by flowers, which I did. When we think about a personal flower to wear bar that we are creating, we know these are not going to be used because they're just way too big for what we're using. So I have a vase and we're going to put some flowers in here just loosely. The nice thing about that is it calls attention to the table because everything's going to be low on the table. If we do some loose stems in here, just thrown in, it'll call attention to the table. It's not a design, it's just a moment. The gerbs we potentially might use, but for now they like water. Let's just put them into the water. And then the carnations, maybe we'll use them, but for right now, let's give them a little bit of water. So we're gonna put these into the water. The nice thing about having a vase, if we don't use all the flowers, we can put them in the water so they can hydrate prior to being used. But for now, that's just some flowers that we know probably will not be used in flowers to wear. All right, let's talk about the setup. You're going to want parchment paper. If you're doing this on a 6-foot table, I would just take a strip of parchment paper and put it all the way down. You're gonna want some floral adhesive. This glue is from Oasis. It's Oasis Floral Adhesive, and this is specifically made for flowers. So we're gonna want a glue that's specific for flower-related gluing. And then for the base of them, we have Band-Aids. Simple Band-Aids, many sizes, whatever you wanna use, feel free to use. We wanna make sure that it's fabric covered because we want the glue to attach to it. The nice thing about Band-Aids, if they wanna put it around, they can put a big one here. They could take the small one and put it up against their arm. It's really a creative moment that I think your guests are gonna love to do. So we have our Band-Aids, we have our glue, we have our parchment, now the flowers. Flowers need to be flat at the bottom to glue. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna cut our flowers completely flat. We want the flowers to be flat so then they stick flat to the Band-Aid. So we're gonna go ahead and cut a stem of the flowers. And then ruscus, let's just cut the leaves off. Just so we have a little bit of foliage. If your guests want to do a little bit of foliage, we have foliage. I'm telling you, this is going to be the best interactive flower moment in your event. And what we want to do is make little piles. We want to have little pile moments so it does look pretty. We're going to want the flower daisies to be upside so you could see the beautiful flower. Next, we're going to take our Ostromeria. These you could just pop off. We want them to be about that long. We want to be able to have a little bit. Just go ahead and pop these off. These you're going to want to be as open as they possibly can be, so that way they fill in the flowers really well. Do that to both. We have a little bit more daisies. I'm not going to cut this whole daisy. I just want some of the blooms. And then, like I said, our vase, we could just take this daisy that we've cut off and we just put it right into the water. And that way, as your flower bar starts to disintegrate, you have more flowers here. We're going to do the same thing with one of these spray roses because we really want to make sure they're in water. So we're going to put just a spray rose in here. You see how it's just haphazard? That way it's not an arrangement. It really calls attention to what we're doing here. The roses, we're going to want to do the same way. We're going to want to cut them so they're flat at the bottom. And this stuff you could prepare an hour to 2 hours ahead of time. If you cut it 2 hours or more, what I would do is I would get some storage containers, some Rubbermaids, put them in there, and then put them in the refrigerator until it's time to go. The refrigerator will keep it a little bit more cool. Clean up our mess. And then our matricaria, little bitty flower buds. Just add a little bit of fun to the design. And again, if you want to do this, you can do this to match whatever event you're having. Imagine if it's a baby shower, you could do it super pink or blue and white. Whatever you want to do, you can do. All right, so this is our flower options for the flower bar. So we're all ready to go. We have the glue. Honestly, I would take some instructions from what we're talking about and make a sign that goes next to them saying, take your glue, a little bit goes a long way, because we don't want people pouring glue all over this. Really, a little bit goes a long way. We're gonna push these to the side and we're gonna have our band there. So what we're gonna wanna do is take our glue, just dab a little bit on the back of the flower. Like I said, a little bit goes a long way. And you're gonna want to let that set for a few seconds, probably 15 seconds. So then I glue 4 of them at once. So that way, I'm not wasting time. And then we can put them on. Once it's glued, you go ahead and you attach it to the Band-Aid. And the Band-Aid will hold this glue once it hardens. These will not go anywhere. Do you see how easily, like that's why you want to use big flowers, because it covers up that Band-Aid so beautifully. Next, we're going to add a few roses. Again, I want to make sure that the glue has a little bit of time to set. And then I'm going to take 3 of these pieces of foliage and just add a little bit of glue there. The reason we're doing parchment is because the glue will come off and you're not ruining linens or tables, and it really just keeps the mess together. All right, we're going to take our roses and go ahead and put them in the design, and really your guests can do whatever they want. The instructions you want to give is to cover up the Band-Aid and make sure that all flowers are dry before you pick it up and try to put it on. Because if the flowers aren't dry, they're going to pop right off of this. And they really dry within a minute. By the time you're done, they should pretty much be dry. Cute, right? Last, I'm just going to add a couple Alstroemeria blooms. Same concept, just a little bit of glue. Put these right in. How pretty. You can use these if you want, these little buttons. I think I'm going to take tiny glue there. Oops, they're difficult to work with, these guys. And I'm just going to glue 2 of them right onto the foliage to add a little bit of interest to that. But I think we're pretty covered. So another Austro down there if you see a spot. And again, let this set for a few minutes, and then you can pick it up and attach it to yourself and have a beautiful flower moment for the event. So we've given it a couple of minutes to dry, so it should be perfectly well. A key component to pay attention to is the Band-Aid colors. Really get many different flesh tone Band-Aids because you're going to need them. What happens is we have this beautiful floral piece already complete, but it looks like it's already filled in. However, when we pick it up to put it on, do you see how you can see some of that Band-Aid coming through? So just get the different flesh tones so your guests can choose. But I just want to point out, look at how sturdy that is. Super sturdy. So we're going to take the backing off. They can put it up here if they like, or they could put it here. But how easy and simple for your guests to make a gorgeous, gorgeous moment for themselves. Remember to like and subscribe so you can get great ideas like this for your next event.